It's funny how your whole life can change because of a single conversation. One moment you're enjoying a peaceful Sunday morning, sipping coffee in your garden, and the next you're agreeing to let your husband's unemployed brother and his family move in just for a week. I'm Lana, and 6 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. They're family, Stephen had said, his hand on my shoulder. Brent just needs time to get back on his feet. A week, tops. I remember nodding, thinking about the guest room I'd just finished decorating. What was the worst that could happen in 7 days? The moving truck arrived that evening. Not a U-Haul, mind you. A full-sized moving truck. I stood in our driveway, watching as they unloaded what looked like their entire house. "Where should we put the kids' playground set?" Brent asked, grinning. "Their playground set?" I turned to Stephen, who suddenly found his shoes fascinating. "Just temporary storage," Brent assured me. "Ramona didn't want to leave it behind." That first night, I made my signature lasagna. I always cooked when I was anxious, and watching Mara and Chris running through my carefully tended flower beds had my stomach in knots. "This is interesting," Ramona said, pushing the food around her plate. "I usually make mine with organic ingredients. The kids are very sensitive to processed foods." "It is processed," Mara announced, making a show of spitting it into her napkin. "Mara," Brent chuckled, "be nice to Aunt Lana." I gripped my fork tighter. "The pasta is actually handmade." "Oh, speaking of food," Ramona interrupted, "I made a grocery list. Nothing fancy, just some essentials. Gluten-free everything, of course, and we only use Japanese rice vinegar, not that cheap stuff." Stephen cleared his throat. "We'll go shopping tomorrow, honey." That night, I couldn't sleep. The sound of cartoons blasted through the walls until 11 p.m, punctuated by Chris's periodic screaming fits. I got up to use the bathroom and stepped in something wet. Someone had used my expensive bath mat as a towel and left it soaking on the floor. By day 3, my morning routine was shattered. I came downstairs to find the kitchen looking like a war zone. Cereal scattered across the counter, milk puddles on the floor, and every single pot and pan I owned piled in the sink. "Oh good, you're up," Ramona called from the living room, where she was sprawled on my white linen couch in muddy yoga pants. "The kids need breakfast. They only eat eggs if they're scrambled with cream cheese, and Mara wants her toast cut into perfect squares." I stood there, staring at my ruined kitchen. "The dishes? Yeah, sorry about that. We were so tired last night. You don't mind, right? You're so good at keeping things tidy." By the end of the week, I knew they weren't leaving. I found Brent's resume in the printer. He hadn't sent out a single application. Their mail started arriving at our address. Ramona had rearranged my pantry to make room for their specialty foods, tossing out my carefully organised spice collection in the process. "Stephen," I tried one night after finding sticky handprints all over my home office walls. "It's been a week." He kissed my forehead. "They're trying their best, babe. Brent has a few promising leads. Let's give them a little more time." I retreated to our bedroom, my last sanctuary. Opening my closet to change, I froze. There was Ramona, wearing my black Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress, the one I'd saved 3 months to buy. She was admiring herself in my full-length mirror, completely oblivious to the foundation stains she'd left on the collar. "Oh," she jumped, then smiled. "This is gorgeous. I hope you don't mind. I have a lunch interview tomorrow and nothing I packed felt quite right." She twirled, the dress pulling tight across her hips. "It's a little snug on me, but it'll do." I stood there speechless as she brushed past me. "Thanks, hun. You're such a sweetheart for sharing." That night, I lay awake listening to the chaos downstairs. Brent's booming laugh, the kids racing through the halls, Ramona's voice carrying up the stairs. "It's like having a free vacation home." I turned to look at Stephen, already snoring beside me, and realised with crystal clarity, this wasn't a week-long favour. This was an invasion, and my husband had handed them the keys. 2 weeks into the invasion, I started having trouble sleeping. I'd lie awake, listening to every creak and footstep, wondering what part of my life they'd claim next. The insomnia led to headaches, the headaches to stomach aches, until I felt like a stranger in my own skin. "You look terrible," Aaliyah said over coffee. We'd started meeting at the local cafe because my kitchen was no longer a safe space for private conversations. "I haven't slept more than 4 hours a night in weeks," I admitted, clutching my third espresso. "Yesterday, I found Chris drawing on my office walls with permanent markers. When I tried to stop him, Ramona said I was traumatizing him. And Stephen disappeared into his man cave. He comes out for dinner, says, 'Let's all try to get along,' then vanishes again." Aaliyah leaned forward. "You need to set boundaries, Lana. Hard ones. Today." I tried. God, I tried. That evening, I called a family meeting. Everyone gathered in the living room. Brent sprawled in my reading chair, Ramona scrolling through her phone, the kids running circles around the coffee table. "I think we need to establish some house rules," I began. "Rules?" Ramona looked up, frowning. "We're family, not tenants." "I know, but..." "What Ramona means," Brent interrupted, "is that we should be able to feel at home here." "Right, Stephen." Stephen shifted uncomfortably. "Maybe we could all be a bit more considerate. I'm just asking for basic..." "Mom!" Mara screamed. "Chris is touching me." "See what you did?" Ramona snapped. "All this tension is affecting the children." The meeting dissolved into chaos. Later, I found my carefully written list of rules crumpled in the trash. The next morning, I discovered they'd used my grandmother's antique serving bowl for their late-night popcorn. It sat in the sink, butter-stained and chipped. "I specifically asked them not to touch that," I told Stephen, my voice shaking. He barely looked up from his phone. "It's just a bowl, honey. Just a bowl. It's the only thing I have left from my grandmother." "You're being dramatic. We can glue the chip." I stopped cooking after that. Stopped gardening too. What was the point when Mara kept pulling up my herbs to make potions? I retreated to my home office, the one space I thought was still mine, until I couldn't even have that. "Hope you don't mind," Brent said, setting up his laptop on my desk. "The Wi-Fi's stronger in here." "I need to work. Me too. Those job applications won't send themselves." He winked. "We can share. Share." Everything was about sharing now. Share your space. Share your things. Share your life until there's nothing left that's yours alone. I started spending evenings in my car, parked at the local park. It was the only place I could cry, without someone barging in to ask what was for dinner. "You're avoiding us," Ramona accused one morning. "We're trying to bond as a family and you're being cold." I was saved from responding by a crash from upstairs, followed by giggling. "Don't worry about that," Ramona called after me as I ran up the stairs. "Kids will be kids." They'd been jumping on my bed. My wedding photo lay shattered on the floor, the frame splintered beyond repair. "I told them not to come in here," I whispered. "They're just playing," Stephen said from the doorway. "We can get a new frame." That night, I needed my journal. Writing had always helped me process, and God knew I needed processing. But when I opened my desk drawer, it wasn't there. I found it in the guest room, their room now, spine cracked open on the nightstand. Pages were dog-eared, corners bent. Someone had been reading it. My hands trembled as I picked it up. Every private thought, every frustration I'd poured onto these pages, they'd read it all. A post-it note fell out. "Found this while cleaning. Interesting stuff. Maybe we should talk about your feelings sometime. Ah." I sank to the floor, clutching my violated journal. The last safe space in my mind had been invaded, just like every other corner of my life. That's when I realized they'd never leave on their own. They'd take and take until nothing remained of me or my home. And Stephen? He'd watch it happen, one just be patient at a time. Something had to change. And if no one else would do it, it would have to be me. The credit card bill arrived on a Tuesday. I nearly choked on my coffee when I saw the balance, $1,274 at Nordstrom, plus hundreds more at various boutiques, purchases I hadn't made. "Stephen," I called out, my voice eerily calm, "can you explain these charges?" He came into the kitchen, still in his work clothes. One look at my face and he knew. "Oh, that," he rubbed his neck. "Ramona needed some things for job interviews. Professional attire, you know. Job interviews." I stared at him. "The ones she hasn't gone to in 3 months?" "She's trying, Lana. It's hard out there." "So hard that she needed a $400 handbag?" Stephen sighed, that patronizing sigh I'd grown to hate. "It's just money. We can afford it." "Can we?" I slapped down the stack of bills I'd been hiding from him. "Because our savings are disappearing, Stephen. They eat organic everything, run the AC all day, take hour-long showers." "You're being dramatic again." He turned to leave. "I've got a meeting." I grabbed my keys. It was time to see Robert, our financial advisor. Robert's office was a sanctuary of quiet competence. No sticky fingerprints, no cartoon sound effects, no passive-aggressive comments about my choice of decor. "Lana," he said, reviewing our accounts, "I was actually going to call you. There are some concerning patterns here." He pulled up our statements. Red flags everywhere. Unauthorized users on our credit cards, regular cash withdrawals, our emergency fund slowly draining. "Who's making these purchases at high-end boutiques?" he asked. "My sister-in-law. Apparently, she needed a new wardrobe." Robert's eyebrows shot up. "And these daily food delivery charges?" "Her kids are sensitive to home-cooked meals." "Lana," Robert leaned forward, "you need to know your joint accounts are being drained at an alarming rate. At this pace, you'll be in serious trouble by year's end." I felt sick. Does Stephen know? I've tried telling him. He keeps saying he'll handle it. Back home, I found Ramona and Mara sprawled on my couch, surrounded by shopping bags, new clothes, shoes, even a laptop. "Early birthday shopping?" Ramona beamed. "Stephen's so generous." I walked upstairs in a daze. My iPad dinged, probably another credit card alert. But when I picked it up, I saw Ramona was still logged into her cloud account. A document caught my eye. "What we still need from Stephen to Mustache Works." My hands shook as I opened it. There it was in detailed bullet points. Private school deposit for kids, bar haulers, new car down payment, summer vacation booking, house hunting budget. The last entry made my blood run cold. "Get S to add me to house deed? For security?" I heard Stephen come home, heard the usual chaos of dinner preparations below. But I couldn't move. Everything clicked into place. The excessive shopping, the lack of job hunting, the constant boundary pushing. This wasn't temporary. This was calculated. My phone buzzed. Aaliyah. "You okay? Haven't heard from you all day." I texted back. "They're not just staying here, they're taking over." "What do you mean?" Found Ramona's planning document. They want everything. Money, house, Stephen's name on school applications. They're setting up permanent residence. "Time to fight back," Aaliyah replied. "You've played nice. Look where it got you." Downstairs, I heard Ramona's laugh, followed by Stephen's. "Of course we'll help with the school deposit. What's family for?" I opened my banking app. Our savings had dropped another $1,000 since yesterday. "You're right," I texted Aaliyah. "Playing nice is over." "What are you going to do?" Before I could respond, Brent barged into my room without knocking. "Family, meeting downstairs. We're planning a vacation." I smiled tightly. "Be right there." After he left, I looked at my phone again. Typed slowly. "Whatever it takes to get my life back. I heard Ramona's voice floating up the stairs. I'm thinking Hawaii. Stephen's tree, of course. My hand stopped shaking. A strange calm settled over me as I opened my laptop and started researching tenant laws in our state. If they wanted to play house, fine. But they were about to learn whose house it really was. I started small. A locksmith came while everyone was out and installed a deadbolt on my office door. When Brent tried the handle that evening, I called out sweetly, "Oh, sorry, I need a private space for work calls. But the Wi-Fi works fine downstairs." Next, I moved all my personal items into the master bedroom. Jewellery, clothes, even my good shampoo, everything under lock and key. "Where's your blue cashmere sweater?" Ramona asked one morning. "The one I borrowed last week?" "Donated it," I lied. "Spring cleaning." Her face darkened. "That's not very sisterly of you." I stopped attending their family dinners, claiming work deadlines. Started keeping granola bars and dried fruit in my room. The less I used the kitchen, the less they could guilt me into cooking and cleaning for them. "Lana's being weird," I heard Ramona tell Stephen. "So cold lately." "She's under stress at work," he replied, ever the peacemaker. The real change came when Brent started inviting friends over. I came home one Wednesday to find 5 guys sprawled across my living room, playing poker, beer bottles everywhere. "Hope you don't mind," Brent called out. "Stephen said it was cool." I walked upstairs, carefully documenting everything with my phone camera. The muddy footprints on my carpet, the cigarette burns on the porch furniture, the wine stains on my grandmother's tablecloth. That night, I sat in my car in the driveway, crying quietly while making phone calls. "Legal aid services, how can I help?" "I need to understand tenant eviction laws in this state." The next day, I started a detailed log. Times, dates, photographs, every boundary crossed, every dollar spent, every borrowing of my belongings. I recorded conversations on my phone, saved text messages, kept receipts. "You're building a case," Aaliyah said when I showed her. "I'm building an escape route." The breaking point came during another poker night. I was in my car, my new sanctuary, when I overheard Brent on his phone through the open garage door. "Yeah, man, we're set up sweet here," he laughed. "Stephen's wife will get over it. We'll be here for at least another 6 months, maybe longer. Why pay rent when you've got family?" 6 more months. The words hit me like a physical blow. I drove to the park, hands shaking on the steering wheel. Called Robert. "How bad is it?" I asked. "They've spent another $3,000 this week alone," he said. "Lana, you need to act soon. Your savings are almost gone." Back home, past midnight, I found beer cans floating in my koi pond. The fish I'd raised for 5 years, dead. Inside, my white carpet was stained with pizza sauce, and someone had vomited in my favourite potted plant. I took more pictures, added them to my growing file. The next morning, Ramona cornered me in the hallway. "We need to talk about your attitude." "My attitude? You're making everyone uncomfortable. The kids say you don't hug them anymore. Brent's friends think you're stuck up. And Stephen, well, he's worried about you." "Is he?" I smiled tightly. "Where is my husband, by the way?" "Sleeping in the guest room. He needed space from your negativity." I watched her walk away, wearing another of my sweaters, leaving a trail of my expensive perfume in her wake. That night, I made 2 final calls. First, to a locksmith. "I need all the exterior locks changed. Yes, every single one. Tomorrow at noon." Then to Aaliyah. "Remember when you said it was time to fight back?" "Yeah, I'm ready, but I need your help." "About damn time," she said. "What's the plan?" I looked at my growing evidence file, at the legal documents I'd gathered, at the photos of my destroyed home. Tomorrow, they're going shopping. Their usual 3-hour spree with Stephen's credit card. And when they come back, They're going to find out exactly whose house this is. I hung up and walked to my window. Below, Brent's friends were arriving for another poker night. Someone was already vomiting in my garden. "Enjoy it while it lasts," I whispered, adding another photo to my file. Tomorrow, the invisible woman becomes very, very visible. For the first time in months, I slept soundly. Tomorrow would change everything. And I was finally ready. The final straw wasn't the dead fish or the ruined carpet. It was an Instagram post. I was in my bathroom, getting ready for what I knew would be a life-changing day, when my phone buzzed. A notification from Ramona's account. "Queen, things you Marasham luxury life nowhere blessed." The photo showed her in my master bathroom, wearing my silk robe surrounded by my skincare products. She'd arranged them like a magazine shoot, my $200 face cream prominently displayed. The caption read, "Self-care, Sunday in my gorgeous spa bathroom." My bathroom, my products, my life she was presenting as her own. I walked downstairs in a daze, straight to Stephen's home office. He was there, as always, hiding from the chaos he'd enabled. "Look at this!" I thrust my phone at him. "Look what your sister-in-law posted." He glanced at it and laughed nervously. "She's just having fun with social media." Having fun! She's literally stealing my life and posting it online. Don't be so dramatic. Stop telling me I'm being dramatic. My voice cracked. They're destroying our home, draining our accounts, and you're hiding in here playing video games. He stood up, face hardening. "You know what? I think I'll sleep in the guest room again tonight, until you calm down." "Perfect." I smiled, and something in my expression made him step back. "Go be with your real family." I watched him walk away, listened to Ramona's squealed greeting, and Brent's booming laugh as he joined them. The perfect family, minus the inconvenient wife who paid for it all. My phone buzzed again. Aaliyah. "Everything ready for today?" "Almost," I replied. "They're leaving for Target in an hour. Their usual Sunday shopping spree." "The locksmith?" "Confirmed for noon." I'd spent the last week preparing, every legal document checked, every security camera installed, every item photographed and logged. I knew exactly what belonged to whom. Right on schedule, I heard Ramona organising their shopping trip. "We need snacks, the good kind," she announced, "and Mara needs new shoes. The ones from last week don't match her new dress." "Take my card," Stephen called from the guest room. I watched from my window as they piled into their car. Brent, Ramona, the kids, and Stephen, one big happy family, off to spend more of our money. The moment they turned the corner, I moved. First call, the locksmith, confirming he was on his way. Second call, the security company, authorising the code changes. Third call, Aaliyah, telling her to bring the storage bins. "This feels like a heist movie," she said when she arrived, carrying stacks of plastic containers. "More like an exorcism." We worked fast. Every item that wasn't originally part of the house went into labelled bins. Kids' toys, Ramona's borrowed clothes, Brent's gaming systems, even the playground set pieces they'd stacked in the garage. The locksmith arrived exactly at noon. I handed him my authorization documents, proof of ownership, legal residence, everything Robert had helped me prepare. "New keys and codes," he confirmed. "Only accessible by you?" "Only me." By 2:00, the house was transformed. Clean, organised, every foreign item packed and labelled. I'd even left detailed lists of what belonged to whom, attached to the bins we'd placed neatly in the garage. "Security system updated," the technician confirmed. "New codes active." I stood in my living room, breathing in the silence. No cartoons blaring, no poker chips clicking, no passive-aggressive sighs. "They're going to lose it," Aaliyah said, watching me. "Probably. Stephen might not forgive you." I touched the space where my grandmother's serving bowl used to sit before they broke it. Some things are worth losing. My phone buzzed. A text from Ramona. Getting lunch after shopping, don't wait up. I looked at Aliyah. They'll be back soon. Want me to stay? No. I squared my shoulders. This is something I need to do alone. After she left, I walked through my house one last time. Everything clean, everything in its place. I'd even packed Stephen's things from the guest room into their own labelled box. My phone buzzed again. Another Instagram notification from Ramona. Retail therapy with my loves. Jacques' blessed Jacques family time. The photo showed them at an expensive lunch spot. Stephen's credit card visible on the receipt tray. I sat in my favourite chair, finally, back in its proper place, and waited. In less than an hour, they'd returned to find every lock changed, every code reset, and their belongings packed and waiting in the garage. The security cameras were armed, the legal documents were ready, and I was done being invisible. Let them come home. Let them bang on the doors and scream about family. I was ready to show them exactly what happens when you push too far. I heard their car pull up at 3:47 p.m. Through the security camera feed on my tablet, I watched them unload shopping bags. So many bags. Ramona was laughing about something, Mara skipping ahead with new shoes, Stephen carrying Chris. The moment Ramona's key didn't work was perfect. I watched her try again, frowning. It's stuck or something, she called to Brent. Try yours. Click, click, click. What the hell? Brent jiggled the handle. Stephen, your key. Even Stephen's key failed. That's when they noticed the small note I'd taped to the door. Your belongings are in the garage. Everything has been documented and photographed. The locks have been changed. Do not attempt to enter without permission. Is this a joke? Ramona's voice rose. Stephen! The doorbell rang. I didn't move. Lana? Brent's fist pounded the door. Open up, right now. I pressed the intercom button. Your things are in the garage. Everything is labelled. Our things, Ramona screeched. This is our home. No, I said calmly. It's my home. I have the deed to prove it. Stephen stepped forward, face red. Lana, stop this. You're being childish. Childish? I laughed. Check your credit card balance, Stephen. Check our savings. Then tell me who's being childish. They rushed to the garage. I watched through the cameras as they found their belongings, meticulously packed and labelled. Ramona's borrowed clothes were cleaned and folded. The kids' toys were organised by category. Even Stephen's gaming setup was carefully wrapped and boxed. She can't do this! Ramona was crying now, mascara running. We live here! Actually, I spoke through the garage intercom, you don't. You have no lease, no rental agreement, and no legal right to occupy this property. I've confirmed this with 3 separate lawyers. We're family, Brent roared. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't destroy homes. Family doesn't drain bank accounts. Stephen, do something. Ramona grabbed his arm. Stephen stepped forward again. Lana, please, let's talk about this. We've talked for 6 months. Now I'm acting. I'm your husband. Are you? Because lately you've been their husband, their banker, their enabler. When's the last time you were my husband? Mara started wailing. Chris joined in. Ramona was frantically digging through boxes, probably looking for the designer clothes she'd borrowed. My makeup, she screamed. My new makeup. Your makeup is in the labelled bin, I replied. My makeup is where it belongs. In my bathroom. You psycho bit. Language, I cut her off. The security cameras are recording everything. That stopped them. They all looked up. finally noticing the cameras I'd installed. "You can't just throw us out," Brent tried again. "I'm not throwing you out. I'm reclaiming my property. Everything that belongs to you is packed and ready to go. I've even included an itemized list of everything you've charged to our accounts over the past 6 months. Your total debt to us is $27,439. Silence. "You've been tracking us?" Stephen's voice was small. "Every purchase, every broken item, every boundary crossed. Would you like to see the spreadsheets?" More silence. "I've also documented the damage to the house. The carpet will need replacing. The koi pond needs cleaning. The antiques you broke need professional restoration." "Those fish were already sick," Ramona muttered. "The security footage suggests otherwise." They stood there, surrounded by their boxed-up lives, finally speechless. "You have 2 hours to remove your belongings," I continued. "After that, anything left behind will be considered abandoned property and donated to charity." "Where are we supposed to go?" Brent demanded. "The same place you were supposed to go 6 months ago. Your own place." "Stephen!" Ramona grabbed him again. "Tell her!" But Stephen was staring at his phone, probably looking at the bank accounts I'd told him to check. 2 hours, I repeated. "The cameras are watching." I settled back in my chair as they started moving boxes, their angry mutters picked up clearly by the security system. Stephen tried the front door one more time. "Lana, please, we can work this out." "We could have worked it out months ago. You chose not to." "I'll sleep at my brother's tonight," he said finally, "until you calm down." "Perfect," I replied. "Don't forget your toothbrush. It's in box 7. I watched them load their cars, box by box, bill by bill, consequence by consequence. When they finally drove away, the house fell silent, beautifully, peacefully silent. I walked to the kitchen and poured myself a glass of wine. My kitchen, my wine, my life. Let them rage, let them plot, let them play victim on social media. I had the deed, the documentation, and, most importantly, my dignity back. For the first time in 6 months, I was home. They came back the next morning, as I knew they would. Stephen led the charge, looking like he hadn't slept, with Brent and Ramona right behind him. I watched through the security camera as Stephen raised his fist to knock, then spotted the new doorbell camera and stopped himself. "Lana," he said to the camera, trying to sound reasonable. "We need to talk." I pressed the intercom. "Are you ready to look at the financial records?" "This isn't about money." Actually, I opened the front door but kept the security chain in place. "It's exactly about money, and respect, and boundaries." "You can't just kick family out," Brent pushed forward. "Watch me." "We'll sue," Ramona shrieked from behind them. I smiled. "For what? Stealing my clothes? Using my credit cards? Breaking my grandmother's antiques? Please, let's get lawyers involved." That shut her up. "I have documentation of everything," I continued. "Every unauthorized charge, every item you borrowed, every time you let your friends destroy our property. Would you like to see the videos?" Stephen stepped closer to the door. "Honey, you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking clearer than I have in months." I pulled out my tablet. "Let's review, shall we? 6 months of expenses, luxury shopping sprees, endless takeout orders, salon visits, that playground set you never assembled, plus damages to the house." "We were going to pay you back," Brent protested. "With what money? The job you haven't looked for? The interviews you haven't gone to?" Ramona burst into tears. "You're so cruel after we treated you like family." "Family?" I laughed. "You treated me like your personal ATM and maid service. You read my private journal. You wore my clothes without asking. You killed my fish." "Those stupid fish. Cost $2,000 to replace. It's all documented." Stephen tried again. Lana, please, let me in. We can discuss this like adults. Like we discussed them moving in, like we discussed them staying, like we discussed them draining our savings. He flinched. When's the last time you checked our accounts, Stephen? We're overdrawn. Our credit cards are maxed. Our emergency fund is gone. That's not possible. I held up my tablet, showing him the banking app. His face went pale. How could you let this happen? He whispered. How could I? How could you? They're your family, remember. The ones you chose over and over again while I became a ghost in my own home. Brent stepped forward, puffing up his chest. Listen, here. No, you listen, I cut him off. I've already filed police reports for the unauthorized credit card charges. I've documented every item you took, broke, or borrowed. I have video evidence of your friends destroying property. Would you like me to continue? More silence. You have two choices, I said calmly. 1. Accept that this is over, take your things, and leave. 2. Fight me and watch every detail of your behaviour become public record in court. You wouldn't, Ramona gasped. Try me. I'm done being invisible. Stephen leaned against the doorframe. What do you want? I want my home back. I want my savings repaid. I want you all to leave. And us? He gestured between us. Our marriage? I looked at my husband, really looked at him, the man who'd let his family walk all over me, who'd watched me disappear and done nothing. You chose them, Stephen. Every single time you chose them. Now you can live with that choice. You didn't give us a chance to fix things. Ramona tried one last time. I gave you 6 months of chances. I'm done. I started closing the door. Wait, Stephen called out. My clothes, Everything you own is packed and labelled in the garage. Take it all and take them with you. You'll regret this, Brent growled. No, I said softly. I already regret not doing it sooner. I closed the door and watched through the cameras as they loaded Stephen's boxes into their cars. Watched my husband of 8 years walk away with his real family. My phone buzzed. A text from Ramona. You're making a huge mistake. Family forgives. I typed back. Family respects boundaries. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't destroy homes. You're not family, you're parasites. Then I blocked their numbers one by one. Later that night, alone in my quiet house, I got an email from Robert, our financial advisor. Stephen tried to access the accounts. I've frozen everything pending legal separation. You did the right thing. I walked through my empty house, touching the spaces where their chaos had been. Tomorrow I'd start repairs, replace what they'd broken, rebuild what they'd destroyed. But tonight, I savoured the silence, the peace, the return of my own breath in my own space. Let them rage, let them plot revenge, let them play victim. I had my home back, and this time I'd guard it better. The doorbell rang while I was replanting my herb garden. Through the security camera, I saw Aaliyah holding wine bottles. Your yard looks amazing, she said as I let her in. Those new koi are gorgeous. I led her to the kitchen, my kitchen, with its gleaming counters and organised spice rack. No sticky handprints, no mountains of dishes, no passive-aggressive notes about organic food. How's the divorce proceeding? She asked, pouring the wine. Final hearing next week. Stephen didn't contest anything after Robert showed the judge our financial records. And the others? I smiled. Funny story. Remember those credit card charges I documented? Turns out, Ramona was also using Stephen's cards to secretly fund a shopping blog. She'd buy designer clothes, pose in them, then return them. Except she kept quite a few items. The credit card company's fraud department got very interested in that pattern. No way! Way! She's facing potential fraud charges. Brent's furious because now his credit is ruined too. Where are they living? They tried staying with Stephen in his new condo, but apparently 3 adults and 2 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment wasn't the luxury lifestyle Ramona expected. Last I heard, they're fighting with their parents about moving back home. Aaliyah laughed. Karma's a beautiful thing. My phone buzzed. An email from Robert. Final divorce settlement approved. All accounts separated. Stephen's portion of the debt has been transferred to his name only. It's done, I said, showing Aaliyah the email. Really done. How do you feel? I looked around my peaceful home. The walls were freshly painted, the carpets replaced, the furniture restored. My grandmother's serving bowl sat in its rightful place, professionally repaired and stronger at the broken places. I searched for the right word. Awake. The doorbell rang again. Through the camera, I saw Ramona. Should we ignore her? Aaliyah asked. No, I want to hear this. I opened the door, but kept the security chain in place. Ramona looked smaller somehow, less polished without my designer clothes and makeup. What do you want? She swallowed hard. I need help. No. Please. The credit card company is investigating me. Brent's parents won't take us in. Stephen's drinking all the time, the kids. Stop. I held up my hand. Your problems aren't my problems anymore. But we're If you say family one more time, I'm calling the police. She stepped back. You've changed. No, I just stopped disappearing. I never meant. You meant exactly what you did. You saw something you wanted, my home, my things, my life, and you took it. But here's what you didn't see. Me. You never saw me. I see you now, she whispered. Too late. I closed the door on her tears, feeling nothing but peace. That was badass, Aaliyah said from behind me. It wasn't about being badass. It was about being done. My phone buzzed again. Stephen. The kids miss you. I typed back. The kids miss their unlimited snacks and free toys. Not me. Don't contact me again. Block. Come on, I told Aaliyah, grabbing the wine. Let's sit in the garden. The evening light is beautiful. We settled into my restored patio furniture, watching the koi swim lazy circles in their clean pond. The herbs I'd replanted were sprouting new growth. My roses were blooming again. You know what's funny? I said, sipping my wine. Everyone keeps asking if I'm okay, being alone. Are you? I was never more alone than when they were here, when I was that invisible woman who cooked and cleaned and paid the bills while they lived my life. And now, I touched the soft leather of my journal, a new one with clean pages and unbroken spine. Now, I'm just me, in my home, living my life. To you, Aaliyah raised her glass, and to karma. No, I corrected her, to boundaries, to peace, to being seen. The sun set over my garden, painting everything in soft gold. Somewhere across town, Stephen was probably drinking in his cramped condo. Brent was probably scheming about their next move. And Ramona was probably crying about consequences. But here, in my reclaimed space, none of that mattered. I opened my new journal and wrote, Today, I am home. Today, I am whole. Today, I am enough. And for the first time in forever, those words were completely true.